The media can't handle Stephen Miller's logic. I mean, he is getting the nickname the Hitman. He can take apart a conversation like nobody I've ever seen. I've got a couple great examples for you, and I want to give you a little bit of background on him as well. Now, working for the Trump administration, you might not have expected that he grew up in Santa Monica, California, went to Santa Monica High School. He's one of those surfer dudes. At least that's what you'd think. And a surfer dude working for Trump from California, that just doesn't make any sense. But here he is. He attributes it to reading a book that changed his mind. It was from one of the people from NRA. Bottom line is he studied political science at Duke University. My mom graduated from there. Great Southern Ivy League school. After college, he got into politics, took his first job as press secretary for Congresswoman Bachmann, and then eventually ended up working on staff for Senator Jeff Sessions. And here's the turning point. In 2016, he joined Trump's campaign staff, started writing speeches, crafting immigration policy. Yep, that was him. And worked closely with all people, Steve Bannon. That brings us to the current day. You all know Caroline Leavitt. She's our press secretary. She is a certified badass. And with Hitman Stephen Miller at her side, he is the deputy chief of staff for policy and homeland security. The media like CNN, MSNBC, all those mainstream medias can't get a word in edgewise. This guy's sharp. Let's take a look. This is a quick look at a couple little excerpts so we don't waste your time. Then we're going to get into a civics class, but at least this will set up how good this guy is.
Thank you all for joining today our 1-month celebration of the most historic opening to a presidency in American history. And when you look at the consequentiality and the significance and the transformative nature of the actions he's taking, it truly defies description.
Is the president happy with the rate of deportations, and are there any plans to speed up the process?
That's a trick. She's trying to trick him.
Well, first of all, we all appreciate the encouragement from the media to deport as many illegal aliens as humanly possible. So thank you.
It's moves like this that have given him the reputation of being a hitman. He is phenomenal. And he gives a civics class on basically what the government's set up for, and he does it in front of all the media. This is brilliant. You've probably seen a little bit of this, but it's worth watching again. Let's hit it.
You're tempting me to say some very harsh things about some of our media friends. Yes, it is true that many of the people in this room for 4 years failed to cover the fact that Joe Biden was mentally incompetent.
Boom.
And was not running the country. It is also true that many people in this room who have used this talking point that Elon is not elected fail to understand how government works. So I'm glad for the opportunity for a brief civics lesson. A president is elected by the whole American people. He's the only official in the entire government that is elected by the entire nation, right? Judges are appointed, members of Congress are elected at the district or state level, just one man. And the Constitution, Article 2, has a clause known as the vesting clause, and it says the executive power shall be vested in a president, singular. The whole will of democracy is imbued into the elected president. That president then appoints staff to then impose that democratic will onto the government. The threat to democracy, indeed the existential threat to democracy, is the unelected bureaucracy of lifetime tenured civil servants who believe they answer to no one, who believe they can do whatever they want without consequence, who believe they can set their own agenda no matter what Americans vote for. So Americans vote for radical FBI reform, and FBI agents say they don't want to change. Or Americans vote for radical reform on our energy policies, but EPA bureaucrats say they don't want to change. Or Americans vote to end DEI, racist DEI policies, and lawyers in the Department of Justice say they don't want to change. What President Trump is doing is he is removing federal bureaucrats who are defying democracy by failing to implement his lawful orders, which are the will of the whole American people.
There were 180 people in that press room, and every one of them was speechless. I'm going to play a clip where CNN thinks they can outsmart them. But before I do, if you're liking this, hit the like and subscribe button. Or if you got your phone out, you just want to scan the QR code like I do. I sit on the couch and watch YouTube. By all means, do it. It tells YouTube that we're doing something of value. And the truth is, I'm pretty sure they're banning us a little bit, kind of shadow banning us because I'm on the edge. Okay, this is just fun. He destroys her. Watch.
Surely your position is not that we should let illegal aliens steal taxpayer dollars. Again, you want to talk about something to be upset about, that's it. What do you think? The millions of illegal aliens who've also stolen Social Security. Illegal aliens in mass have fake Social Security numbers. They have fake identities. Those are felonies. Why should there be an entire class in this country that is immunized from criminal prosecution and arrest for committing felonies? Felony theft of taxpayer information, felony theft of Social Security, felony theft of identity. These are...
She can't even respond. She's literally frozen.
All crimes. And yes, they will be investigated. Yes, they will be prosecuted. And yes, illegal aliens will be deported. And you know what happens when those deportations occur?
Just very quickly,
is that Americans will get jobs, Americans will get benefits, Americans will get houses.
Stephen, if they got a child, if they got a credit,
a child tax credit, and they will be referred, you're saying, to ICE for that, and you would expect deported for that? Is that the position of the administration?
Jelket said, trying to capture him, trying to tie him down, trying to get her talking points so that she can use that again and again. This is such a game of BS. I am done with the mainstream media, but I do enjoy it when Hitman Steve Miller's on. And here is his close on this young lady.
And I would have to imagine that CNN, which is endlessly talked about the importance of democracy and the rule of law, would say that no class in this country should be above the law, least of all illegal aliens who've trespassed on our territory.
No, Stephen, I'm just asking, I wanted to get your position on some things. We're not taking a position here. We wanted to get some answers to some questions. There are so many questions that need to be answered.
It doesn't sound to me like you are, in fact,
you.
indifferent or unbiased on these questions, but thank you.
Oh, there he goes. He just tears her down, brings it down a bit. I think this guy is more articulate than almost anybody I know. I've got a little piece from Dan Bongino I want to share with you, but before I do, here's some humor to lighten the day. We've got serious topics for serious people. The Hitman brought up Doge. I thought this was appropriate, and this actually kind of characterizes it fairly well. I just love seeing this. It makes me laugh. Thought I'd share it with you because everybody could use a good giggle now and again. This next piece is from Dan Bongino's show. If you're not a subscriber, but I highly recommend you consider doing so. This guy is absolutely brilliant. Love him. Always have since he was on Fox before he got kicked off. But bottom line is, let's let it roll.
As we know, there's a massive amount of fraud in this country. You have, for example, foreign fraud rings. These are foreign nationals who come into the United States. They use fake Social Security numbers. They use fake identities to steal billions in taxpayer benefits. There's no way to know until Doge gains full access exactly how much money we're talking about. But over a 10-year normal budget window, you could be talking about saving over $1 trillion by clamping down on massive fraud in our tax and entitlement systems, including, again, those carried out by organized fraud and theft rings. A very important point in all this is to understand that Doge are subordinate staffers of the federal government. They are political appointees, just like me, just like everyone else in the White House, that serve and answer to the president. So we're not talking about an outside private entity. We're talking about the existing federal staff of the federal government performing their statutory and constitutional duty.
That was about the most articulate summary of what Doge does and how it actually works I've heard. I hope you made it on this far. If you have, I got a great video for you. It's all about the Trump derangement syndrome. Yeah, it's a real thing. I think you're going to like it. It's playing next. I'm Phil. This is Synopsis of Stupidity. God bless you. God bless America. Here is Trump derangement syndrome for you.